Here are 5 signs that somebody is at elevated risk for cheating in their relationship from a licensed clinical psychologist. All right, the first one is that they have an avoidant attachment style. This means that they want to avoid conflict and that they prefer to sweep things under the rug rather than talk about them, that they frequently avoid talking about their feelings. So they are avoidant of emotions, conflict, and avoidant of really attaching in the relationship. The second thing is if they have narcissistic tendencies. Many people who stray have elevated narcissistic tendencies. So this is being egocentric, being entitled, having low empathy for you or other people, having a lot of selfish behavior, and they're not particularly concerned about hurting you. A third sign that I would look for is somebody with poor coping skills. This means that when the going gets tough, they cope very poorly or not at all. So when things are hard for them, they might turn to unhealthy coping strategies like excessive drinking, excessive use of drugs, shopping, gambling, anything to sort of numb themselves instead of trying to cope with their feelings and actually feel them and kind of get through the crisis. The fourth thing I would look for, and that's a sign of elevated risk, is if there is a family history of infidelity. So we know there's a genetic basis to infidelity. That doesn't mean that everybody who has a gene is definitely going to cheat. It just means that certain people who have had a family member that have cheated are at an elevated risk for cheating again because they may possess this particular gene. If you want to read about the genetic basis to infidelity, you can look up Zietsch and colleagues. They have an article from 2015 in the Journal of Evolution and Human Behavior, and you can read all about it there. Also, there's sort of learned behavior from watching your family deal with infidelity that predisposes you to more infidelity in the future. It also works the opposite way, where somebody might have seen infidelity and then are, is much less likely to repeat it. So it can have a protective effect as well. And the final thing I'd look for is if your partner or if this person has had any previous infidelity without therapy for that infidelity. So we know that people who cheat once are at increased risk for cheating again. That doesn't mean that everybody who cheats will definitely cheat again. It just means that once it's part of their behavioral profile, it's something that they're likely to go back to if they don't get therapy or do any kind of treatment to understand why they did it. Infidelity, for the most part, serves a purpose. It's a painkiller for a lot of people. It's a way to cope for a lot of people. And it's a very unhealthy coping strategy, and we want to replace it with something else. To do that, we have to understand why somebody cheated in the first place. And that requires them to dig into their feelings and really learn about why they did this so that they can identify those feelings. And next time they feel something like that, they can choose differently. So if somebody hasn't had any treatment, whether it's a support group or reading a self-help book or something, then they're at higher risk for choosing this behavior again. So what do you think about this list of 5 signs that somebody is likely to cheat again? What would you add to the list? What do you think the most important factor is? Let's talk about it a little bit.